Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews, and I am Horrorboy465, aka Nate Murphy, the Explorer 4 here. Welcome back to some more reviews, and welcome to episode 2 of the Week of the Dead. Now, I wanted to get this review sort of out of the way, just in case I didn't forget about it. And that is World War Z, which came out in 2013, got 7.0 on IMDb, written by Mark Forster. And I wanted to review this movie before I reviewed Resident Evil, Degeneration, and Zombie, and Shaun the Dead, and Dead Snow, and stuff like that, because I don't own this movie for DVD. This is actually the only movie on the list that I don't own for DVD or Blu-ray. I honestly might pick it up for Blu-ray if I get it for cheap, but I might get the DVD. I actually thought it was actually a pretty good film, and yeah, so World War Z, I remember when it came out in 2013. I think I actually seen this in the theater. I think I even did a review for this movie back in 2013. But I remember being in the movie theater and I seen the commercial for it, and honestly, I wasn't really too impressed by the commercial. I thought it looked like a typical action movie that's released now. It didn't look like that it was that good. I wasn't so sure about the casting. I mean, Brad Pitt sometimes can be good acting, sometimes can be bad acting. It depends on what movie he's put in. But I just thought it didn't look that impressive from the trailer. And then I seen the movie, and it was a whole different story. I actually really enjoyed this movie. And this is one of those very few PG-13 zombie movies that I actually really enjoy, because usually zombie movies done with blood and guts and, zombies devouring people, so they're usually rated R. And this is one of those very few PG-13 zombie movies that was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. Now, when I put this in the category of classic or amazing, flawless movies, no, there's still problems with it. The CGI is still pretty bad. The runtime got pretty bad at times. But the movie as a whole is pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. I was actually very surprised by it. But would I put it in the category of classic? No. I'm not going to sit here and say I was like a huge fan of it, but I can honestly say that I really enjoyed it. And for being the PG-13, zombie movie because usually zombie movies are rated R. For being a PG-13 zombie movie, it was actually pretty good. Now, of course, World War Z stars Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's been in a lot of movies such as Fight Club, lots of movies. And pretty much in this movie, he plays in a former United Nations employee. And pretty much one day, he's at his home, everything's going good, has a family and everything. And on their way to the city, I believe they're actually in the city, there's a zombie outbreak that happens. And these zombies in this movie are very unique. This is definitely one of those zombie movies that's definitely separate from other films. The zombies in this movie sort of throw themselves towards objects and just use their bodies as battering rams and stuff like that. Crazy zombies in this movie. And it wasn't silly like Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead looked like somebody pressed the fast forward button on the zombies and they're just fast forward walking. And in Day of the Dead it seemed more silly. I don't know, here it was more serious. This is much more of a serious action film. I wouldn't necessarily say it's much of a horror film. Maybe towards the end of the film, it got, it felt kind of like a horror film, but mainly it's more of an action movie. But still, though, it was a well-made action movie. But yeah, it seemed more like an action movie. But I can say towards the third act of the movie, it felt kind of like a horror movie, just with the atmosphere and stuff like that. Because the third act is when he got into the building, things started slowing down, atmosphere started to build up. Then it sort of felt like a horror movie. But most of the movie, the first and the second acts of the movie, it's definitely an action movie. And in Day of the Dead, the thing that I hate about Day of the Dead, one of the things I hate about that movie is that the zombies are goofy in that movie. I mean, you literally got Ving Rhames going like this, shaking his face like this, and making a sound whenever he, growls or, whenever he's a zombie in that movie. You get zombies in that movie that are crawling on walls, and it's in fast forward. They filmed it and sped the film up or something. It looks so silly. Here, though, the zombies are freaking crazy. They're biting people, scratching people, stuff like that. But they're running. They can jump real high, and they're using their bodies as battering rams and crashing the cars. And it's a very basic story. I mean, pretty much this outbreak happens. Very good action scene at the beginning of the movie where they're in the city and Brad Pitt's escorting his family to these buildings, and there's just zombies everywhere, bashing through buildings, bashing through cars, practical effects, some CGI, but mostly practical effects. And they get to the rooftop, get rescued by this helicopter. They get taken to this ship way out in the middle of the ocean. Pretty much, Brad Pitt is asked if he wants to pretty much find out what's going on and how to stop this, this zombie pandemic. And he joins this mission, and he's going all around the world to try and figure out what's going on. He's going to military bases, going here, going there. I believe he goes all the way over to the Middle East. I believe he goes over to, I want to say Asia, but I kind of want to take that back. But I know he goes over to the Middle East. They go over there, and they're talking about how these zombies act, and and pretty much leads to the end of the film, where he pretty much goes to this place where he finds out that the virus is there and tries to find a cure, and pretty much tries to stop this zombie outbreak. And I don't know. I mean, the movie is a great movie. I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't put it in the category of classic because the movie is an hour and 56 minutes long. Sometimes it drags, especially the middle part of the movie. There's not really a lot going on, especially when it gets to the Middle East. A lot of talking. Some decent action scenes here and there, but it wasn't really much. I thought Brad Pitt did a great job in this movie. Did a phenomenal job. Even his family, his wife, I think he had a daughter and a son, or it was just a daughter, I can't remember. But I do know that his family did a decent job, acting-wise. And I like the simplicity of the movie. I like the action scenes in the movie. You got the beginning action scene at the beginning of the movie where, zombies are like throwing themselves into cars, into walls, stuff like that. You got that scene where pretty much they get off this helicopter and there's rain and there's zombies everywhere. You got that great scene, which I love this scene. I love this whole scene. Well, it's like this whole segment where the zombies sort of build themselves up because they built this big wall over the Middle East. They built this big wall to keep the zombies out. And the zombies, granted, the CGI is not the best, honestly. The CGI zombies, they're really not the best. But it was just the idea I appreciated. The zombies building themselves up and pounding on top of each other to get over this wall. And they're climbing over this wall, this huge giant wall, and they go down, and then Brad Pitt is running, shooting zombies, and they're running real fast, and it's very fast-paced action scene. Zombies are biting people. It's not really that graphic, but you get the idea of biting people. Brad Pitt makes it to this airplane, flies out of there. He ends up finding this laboratory place, and you got that great scene where there's a zombie right here. It's practical effects. Probably one of the very few times they use practical effects in a zombie. And he's just standing right there, and Brad Pitt's looking at the zombie. It's a really great scene. And when he gets there, he pretty much finds out that he has to find this, cure. Ends up stopping this outbreak and ends up stopping it, and pretty much, in a way, saving the world. And it's a very straightforward action movie. A little bit of horror in the third act, but mainly an action movie. But like I said, I wouldn't put it in a classic category because, I mean, it got pretty boring, I'll be honest, in the middle part of the movie. Some of the CGI was pretty bad, especially some of the CGI enhancements on the atmosphere and, the decaying city and, fires and stuff like that look like CGI. The CGI enhancements on the zombies are pretty bad as well. But I like the idea of the entire world being infected with this, being affected by this outbreak. And it was really cool because it really did give it a feeling like it was just everywhere. You couldn't escape from this outbreak. Where most zombie movies focus on one area, Brad Pitt travels across the world to different states and different countries and stuff. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And like I said, Brad Pitt did a good job in this movie. And action scenes are really well done. Although the runtime wasn't really that good, it got pretty boring in the second half. But you had some really good practical action scenes that were really intense and really well filmed. The score, I don't really remember the score that much. It really wasn't really that much, special. It wasn't really anything special. the movie gets a 7.0 on IMDb, so it it has fans, and it's directed by Mark Forster, which I'm gonna try and see what else he's made. But he's only directed 13. He only has 13 credits in directing. Machine Gun Preacher, Quantum of Solace. That's I believe a 007 movie. Yeah, 007 movie. Which I haven't seen that yet. I actually haven't seen hardly any 007 movies. The only one I probably watched all the way through was probably GoldenEye, and I started to watch The World Is Not Enough, but I kind of got a little bit bored with it. I'll be honest. Y'all Start to Stay. World War Z, of course, Lounger, everything put together, Monsters Ball. Some of these movies I didn't even hear about. Some of them I did, like Quantum of Solace, Machine Gun Preacher, World War Z, of course, I've seen in the theater. And as an experience in the theater, it was pretty intense. I mean, the action scenes are just these zombies. What separates this movie from different zombie movies is that the zombies in this movie are given their own look. They're given their own, characteristics. In this movie, the zombies are more of like just throwing themselves toward objects, and it's not walking zombies, but it's not running zombies. It's just these, it's running, but with jumping and sprinting and just using their bodies as battering. I really can't describe it any other way. But pretty much they see an object that was blocking them from the person trying to eat. They'll just use their, themselves to bash the freaking door down or bash the car into pieces. If you guys have seen the film, I think you guys know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, World War Z, it's a pretty straightforward movie. You got a lot of great action scenes in here. The beginning of the action scene was pretty good. A couple of the action scenes throughout the movie are pretty good. The third act was pretty good, and acting by Brad Pitt and his family did a good job as well. And for being a PG-13 action zombie movie, it's pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. But like I said, the CGI was pretty bad when it was there. I don't really remember the score that much. The way that it was shot was not really that much. It wasn't like a wonderfully shot movie. It was just kind of basic. And in this movie, the zombies were not goofy. In Day of the Dead, the remake, they were goofy because it looked like somebody was fast-forwarding them, or somebody sped the film reel up. It looked so silly and cheap and cheesy. Here, it was handled seriously. It was handled professionally, and it worked for this movie. It worked much better in this movie than it did in Day of the Dead. In this movie, zombies are jumping everywhere and stuff, and you don't really get a lot of practical zombies, mostly just CGI zombies, but the CGI was pretty bad, but the idea was just cool about these zombies who pretty much use themselves, use their their bodies as battering rams that hit objects out of their way and stuff like that. And it's a pretty unique idea, pretty unique take on the zombie movie, and seeing it in theaters was pretty cool. It wasn't nearly as fun as seeing The Forest and Evil Dead in the theaters though, because everybody was just having a blast during those two movies. But still, I thought it was pretty good. It's not one of my favorite zombie movies. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was an absolute classic and pick it up on Blu-ray. I honestly might get it for DVD if it's cheap. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but I can still say it's good. It's a good movie, but it's got some pretty bad CGI. It can get pretty boring at times, especially during the second act. The score wasn't really that memorable. It wasn't really shot spectacularly. It just was kind of basically, it kind of had like a basic look to it, a basic way that it was shot. But Brad Pitt did a good job. Unique idea for the zombies. It was a very straightforward movie. Really appreciated that. And for being an action PG-13 zombie movie, it's pretty good. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review for World War Z. And thanks for watching episode 2 of The Week of the Dead. And I will see you guys on the next review. Bye, guys.